Okay, so we know that the book ends with TK, he gets shot by Janie. Janie goes on trial. After she's on trial, she gets proven innocent. Then where does she go?
Oregon.
She's already in the Everglades with TK. She goes back to Eatonville, where she lived with who?
Logan. Phoebe.
Joe,
Joe,
where she lived
my
with
bad.
Joe.
Oh, yeah.
Jody Starks was the mayor of Eatonville. That's where they went. That's the all-colored town that they lived in. So she goes back to Eatonville. Why does she do that?
Because she lived there for so long, so it's like the second home.
Okay, so it's like a second home, but everyone was kind of mean to her there, and they didn't really like her that much. And
She didn't care what they thought.
she doesn't now. She did back then, right? So that kind of proves more transformation of her, that she finally goes back to Eatonville, doesn't care what anybody thinks of her now, because look at how she's coming back. I mean, what is she wearing? We learned this at the beginning of the book. Overalls. She's wearing overalls that are covered in dirt. When she left in what?
A dress.
A blue satin dress. So she does not care what these people think of her anymore.
It's like
But-
the beginning of the book.
Right, exactly. We have now come full circle. We are now at the part where she begins telling Phoebe the whole story of her life. So now we have come back. The frame of this story is complete. That's what that's called, is a frame. When the story starts and then ends in the same spot, that's a frame. So we have now come full circle. She doesn't care what these people think of her. What do you think? So she spent these 2 years at the Everglades with someone that she loved. Would you be able to stay somewhere like that when everything reminds you of them?
No.
No. So that's why she goes back to Eatonville. She's like, I can't stay at the Everglades. Everything here reminds me of tea cake. You know, I had a good life here. These last 2 years that she spent at the Everglades were the best 2 years of her life, and I wouldn't be able to stay there either. So she goes back to Eatonville, where all the people are mean. But I mean, she doesn't care anymore because she's finally found her voice. She's finally found her place. She is finally independent, like Avi said, and this is now where her home is. This is where she thinks she belongs. She cannot stay in the Everglades. So, we have finished the novel. Yay! We can fly. I'm just going to drop everything. Okay, so, starting today, we are going to start a project that is due. Thanks for groaning. I'll edit that off the video too. It's going to be due Friday, so we're going to talk about it some today. You will have Wednesday and Thursday in class to work on it entirely, and then it will be due Friday when you walk into class. On Friday, we will go do a summary of the whole entire book, because then on Monday you will take a test over this novel. Okay, so this is how the week's going to go. Today we're going to start the project, work days. During your work days, you will have to come conference with me, and you will get points for that, for showing me the work that you have done in class. And then it will be due, like I said, Friday when you walk in. So like I kind of said yesterday, we're going to create a soundtrack. Seriously? You said he would be good. Okay.
Take 10.
Silly.
So we are going to create a soundtrack for this novel. The best way to go about doing that is to first, so here's what it must include. So when you choose your songs, you must include the song lyrics. We're going to do this on a Google Doc that you will share with me to turn in. When you choose your songs, just go find the lyrics of your song, the name of the song, who wrote it or sang it. Copy and paste the lyrics into the Google Doc. Yes?
Does it have to be 5 different artists, or just, well, obviously 5 different
Excellent question. Excellent.
No. You can use the same artist more than once, as long as it's a different song. So you may use the same artist. So you're going to include these lyrics. Let's talk about profanity. This is a Google Doc that goes into your school computers. If there are F-bombs or any other kind of words that are not school appropriate, replace them with asterisks. Just whatever. It'll be in a Google Doc, so you'll be able to edit it at this point. So just make sure that you leave out all profanity of any kind. any little type of thing. So we're just gonna call that like it is. After you have chosen these 5 songs, first you will choose 5 defining moments. Of the novel. No, don't worry about it. As long as you have the title of the song and who performs it, and then lyrics, you don't need like a works cited from where you got it from. It's fine. So what you'll do, you'll choose 5 defining moments of the novel. So those will kind of go in order too. We're gonna kind of brainstorm different ones together, and you can maybe choose from those, or you can make up your own. It doesn't matter. But you'll want to choose 5 defining moments from the novel, and then you'll want to choose songs that go with those moments. So after you've chosen the songs, you pull out the lyrics, and then you're going to write a full paragraph. Do you guys know how long a full paragraph is supposed to be?
4 to 5 sentences.
5 to 7 sentences.
You're funny. 6 to 8 sentences.
Oh.
Why? That's not what we've been told all our lives.
Well, you're juniors in high school now, so I expect more from you. I know you can do it. A full paragraph, and we're going to talk more about paragraphs in a second, is 6 to 8 sentences. You need to write a full paragraph explaining what your song is about and how it connects to that moment that you chose.
So each one is 5 paragraphs.
So yes, ultimately you will end up writing 5 paragraphs. So for each song, you will write 5 paragraphs explaining why. Please put your phones away. Chloe, Cole, thank you. So 5 paragraphs.
Now,
Now you're being so much.
Hello, welcome.
welcome.
Are you making fun of me? Okay, so for those of you who just kind of came in, we're doing a project now with the end of the novel. We have now finished it. You're going to choose 5 defining moments of the novel, pick 5 songs to go along with those moments, and you're going to write a paragraph for each one explaining what the song's about and why it goes with that moment. So, for example, have you guys ever heard the song
Yes.
Holy Grail by Jay-Z?
Yeah. Never.
Well, it's kind of old, so I didn't know. So, what is that song about?
A girl that's kind of holy.
No. Wrong. Next. So, the song is about, it starts off, Justin Timberlake, my man, he's singing. And he's like, you literally take the clothes right off my back, you take the food right out of my mouth. But for some reason, I don't know why, I just love you so much still. And that's kind of what the song is about. Like, you know, you're just sitting up on your high horse, drinking from your holy grail, and here I am just worshiping you. So, I thought of that song. I've been, like, thinking about this all weekend when I came up with this. I'm like, oh, that'd be a good song for that. Like, it's honestly kind of fun. That song I was listening to on the way to school this morning, and I thought that would be a really good moment for when Tea-Cake hits Janie. Because, what?
Are you singing it?
Yes.
She's like, yeah,
I love that song. I haven't heard it in so long either. I was like, I forgot this song existed. This is awesome. Who's playing it? Are you playing it?
No.
Yes, do we all hear it?
Oh my god, your phone's loud. Yeah, that is loud.
iPhone X.
Yes.
So we go in, huh?
Oh, I thought you were raising your hand. You're just fixing your headphones. Okay, so I thought that was a really good moment for when Tea-Cake hits Janie because Tea-Cake does all these awful things to Janie that all of her husbands did before her, before him, that she didn't let them do. But for some reason, she lets Tea-Cake do them, and she doesn't kind of really know why. So I thought that was like a good, and I pretty much just, as I was saying that was my whole paragraph that I wrote. The song is about this. This is why it connects to this moment. That's kind of like what your paragraph should be about. So, do you guys have any questions about this? About the assignment? Yes, no.
5 moments, 5 songs for each one.
Yes.
Paragraph, why you like it?
Paragraph about what the song is about and why it connects to that moment. Why are you choosing the song for this moment?
So choose a song, and then the song have a second single sentence saying why
Look at Luke's sweater.
you pick this song, and then paragraph you need to.
You can do that in the whole paragraph. What this song is about leading into why you chose it in the whole paragraph.
Can you go over 8 sentences?
You can, if you choose to. You have to have at least 6 though. That's a full paragraph. So, let's talk about, and I will put like the rubric up for this on Schoology so that you guys have this, so, so that you know what you're doing. Let's talk about what a paragraph looks like. I know that you guys know what a paragraph is, but let's really talk about, let's go over that for a second.
And we're just putting a link to our song there.
No, copy and paste them into Google Doc, so I don't have to open them up. I'll just leave it there. So I said a paragraph consists of 6 to 8 sentences. You may go over 8 sentences, however, you have to have at least 6. I know in middle school and in high school, or I'm sorry, in middle school mostly, you were told that a paragraph was 4 sentences, and that was when you were little. As you get older, your sentences grow, and now you must write more. So, 6 to 8 sentences. What should be at the beginning of a paragraph? An introductory sentence or a topic sentence. What's in the middle of your paragraph?
The body.
The body, which contains what?
The body. The like info.
Support, yes. What were you saying, Kayla?
The like information.
Support, information, evidence. You must have at least one quotation from the book for each paragraph. So now you have to use your text. You must use the book. Your eyes are watching that. So whenever you choose your 5 moments, you have to find where those are in the book and have a piece of evidence that supports your topic as to why you chose this song for this defining moment. So you're explaining what the song's about, that's fine. And then once you kind of get into, it supports this defining moment because look at what they say here. And this goes with that. Does that make sense, Sam? Yeah? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
So, what?
We have to quote them in the paragraph.
Yes, you will need a quote and the page number it even comes from.
Like the author's last name and page number.
Yes. Yes.
Right after the quote or at the end of the paragraph?
I'm sorry, what?
Is that after the quote or at the end of the paragraph?
That'll be after your quote. Your in-text citations and anything you ever write will always be after the quote or after the piece of evidence. And you'll literally have parentheses, the author's name, the page number, parenthesis, and then your period comes here. That's what in-text citations look like. And again, I'll put this all up on Schoology in like an actual formal document so that you can read through it so that you know what you're doing. So you have to have one piece of evidence. It can be a paraphrase quote. You don't have to, use an actual quote. Do you guys know what that means to like paraphrase a quote? So you're not actually putting the quotations. You're saying it in your own words. But you still found that on this page, so you still need to cite the page number. So you don't have to pull the direct quote. You can use it in your own words to make sense in your paragraph, but you still have to say where you found that information from. Does that make sense? Okay. What does the end of a paragraph look like? Or as my old 6th graders like to call it, the clincher. The clincher sentence. It clinches everything together. They love that word. I don't know why. All right. Well, I'm recording, so we don't have to talk about why. But they like to call it the clincher. So that kind of like sums up everything. And I mean, you guys, this is the structure of a paper, right? Like this is how it's supposed to go. Your thesis or your topic paragraph, your introductory paragraph, your body paragraphs that have your support, and then your conclusion paragraph. Like it's the same thing. All a paper is, it just gets smaller and smaller
That's right.
into a paragraph. So, I mean, your topic sentence, that literally can be one sentence. You have,
From like the book.
the one you make. So you're saying, like, I chose this song for this moment.
Oh.
That's a good topic sentence.
That's decent.
this song is about this. That's another sentence. And then, you know, maybe you have two support sentences like, you know, in the book it says this, which goes with this song.
Right, right.
I think this is a great song for this moment.
And the clincher knows.
Sure, clincher.
The clincher.
So, do we all understand how this is supposed to be done?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Okay, so let's talk about some defining moments in the book so that we kind of have a sense of what we should choose. And you could choose any one. You don't have to choose these. Preferably, I would like it to go in chronological order, but I mean, whatever. I'm going to understand what you're getting at regardless. So let's think about the beginning of the book. What happened in the beginning of the book that was really defining to either Janie or the story?
Danny tells Jody she should marry Logan.
Okay. What else? What happens before that when she's little?
She kisses.
Okay. What family are they? What kind of family are they?
Wait.
What happens while she lives with them?
So she goes away.
So the photo where she finds out she's black. Do you guys remember that?
Yes.
Okay. So what else? What happens after? So we got like the beginning now. What happens after this? Nanny thinks she should marry Logan, and then what? She waits. Okay, so marries Logan, waits for love.
Logan treats her like dirt.
So be more specific, Josh. Like think of a specific moment. Logan says, what?
Logan says that she should be working on the farm and start doing stuff instead of just hanging around.
So Logan says you need to work. That's a good moment, right?
Get busted.
It's not a good moment, but for this assignment it is. So what happens after that? She's with Logan, and then what? Okay, by who?
Ugly.
She meets Joe. So that's a good. Well, Joe, Jody, whatever. Same guy. She meets Joe. What happens when she runs away with Joe?
He promises to treat her like a woman.
Okay.
And then he treats her a little bit too much like one, I guess.
Well, be more specific. What happens next? He promises to treat her right, and then what do they do? She's with Logan. She meets Joe. He goes, "I'll treat you right. Now do this."
She wants him. He wants her to run, sit on the porch and just relax. Or wait, run the store. Sorry.
Joe wants Janie to come with her to Eatonville. So she's living where she's at with Logan. No, you're fine. I know you haven't really read it much, so thanks for trying. Because you've been gone. So Joe wants Janie to run away with her, and they go to Eatonville. And then what happens when they get to Eatonville?
He goes away, sort of he gets
Caught up in
preoccupied and
being mayor. And Janie feels what? What happens to Joe? What happens?
He gets sick.
Joe, sick and dies. What? Yes, kidney failure. Yes, he had kidney failure. He gets sick and dies. Then what does Janie do?
Mourn.
I don't know if I spelled that right. Yes, she mourns.
No.
Whatever, you can't tell because I put it in half cursive. So she mourns and she's working at the store, and then what does she? Who does she meet? So Janie meets tea cake.
Let's get around a little bit.
Oh, don't look at that. Janie meets tea cake. Or this A that looks like a U. There's a lot of writing, you guys. Okay, so Janie meets tea cake. Where do they go?
The Everglades.
Everglades.
Oh yeah.
They go to the Everglades.
But there's a hurricane.
Okay, so there's a hurricane. So that's a really good moment about the hurricane. I'm actually pretty sure their song's titled Hurricane.
Yeah.
So if you want to use that one.
It'd be like a
What?
TK was flirting with the.
Yeah, that like.
Yes. So we have Nunkey. So let's talk about
the chunky.
Noonkey, whatever her name is. I don't know. So that's like a good moment too because that is a whole chapter. I mean, I know it's only 2 pages. And there's lots of songs about cheating. So I'm sure that's a good one too.
Yeah, we should use
Make
cheese
sure-
for that one too.
Before you start this though, make sure you're actually listening to the song and listening to the lyrics. Don't just choose a song because of the title because you might actually read the lyrics and it has nothing to do with what you thought it did. Yes, Dawn.
Can we like do this on slides or something? Like Google Docs.
Well, we're gonna do it on Google Docs. Do you guys want to do it on like a Google Slides, like a PowerPoint
I think
instead,
that would
or
be
in just a regular document?
Can we choose?
Regular document would be a little easier than.
So don't like because if you do it as PowerPoint, you could put the lyrics and the paragraph on one slide, and then next slide.
I said we can post
Avi.
Well, I don't want to. That's a lot more
Why
work.
don't you let people choose if they want to do a PowerPoint?
Okay,
Oh.
Josh.
good idea, Josh.
Welcome
There you
back. Welcome back. I found Jeremy.
So you may do this in Google. Make sure you're doing it on Google though, so you may share it with me so I can grade it. You may either do it on Google Slides as a PowerPoint, or you could just do it on a regular Google document, whichever you choose. Doesn't matter, like Josh said. Okay, so let's get back to the Everglades. So that stuff happens with Noonkey. What else happens here? Who's someone that is awful and tries to break Tea Cake and Janie up?
Oh,
Mr. What's his name?
Mrs.
top.
Bruh.
Nope.
No,
It starts with a T.
Turner.
It's Turner.
Yeah. Timmy Turner.
So yes, Mrs. Turner tries to throw her brother onto Janie so that because why? She's what?
Black.
She's black and she
Racist.
hates she's racist to black people. She hates black people. So then we have the hurricane and their eyes were watching God thing. That was disgusting.
Oopsies.
Okay.
Felt really good.
Good. So that after the hurricane, what happens during the hurricane to Tea Cake?
He gets bit by the dog, and he gets rabies, and dies. Well, gets
Goes
killed.
crazy.
Bit by a dog. Before he goes crazy, we actually didn't talk about this earlier on. So the hurricane comes. Motorboat decides to stay. Please don't laugh at that. Motorboat decides to stay in that house and wait the storm out. Janie and Tea Cake leave. They go to a different town. The hurricane's over. They're still in this town. What happens while they're in this town?
Tea Cake has to bury the white people if they get like a coffin, while the black people are just dumped in a ditch.
Yes. So Tea Cake gets recruited by these white men saying, you need to help clean up because you're a black man. All these dead bodies from the hurricane. And they literally do. Sam, turn around, Jake, push your phone away, please. He literally has to put these white people in coffins, and they just say, throw the black people in a ditch. And this is like the first like real time that we kind of experience any form of racism in that way. We've already kind of seen racism with Mrs. Turner, but this is like the stereotypical racism that you think of about back in the 30s. You know, everyone kind of was racist towards black people. Why do you think that she added that in there? Because it was just a small section where she talks about that, because then he kind of runs away and leaves. He's like, all right, Janie, I'm done with this. We need to go back to the Everglades. And then it's never spoken about again. Why do you think Kirsten included that?
To remind everybody of the realization that it still existed.
Yes, to remind everybody that this is still the 1930s and this is still happening. This is not a stereotypical story about racism, but she wanted to make sure that you still remembered when this took place. So you could talk about that. Bit by dog. Berries. corpses. That's another good moment. And then what happens after this when they return? We said he goes crazy.
He gets wavies.
Rabies. And then what happens?
Tries to kill Janie. Yeah, Luke Howard's trying.
So I'm just gonna put Janie kills. Janie kills him, and then she
Goes to court.
goes to court. And returns to Eatonville. Wow, that's bad. So, we just pulled out all these moments from this novel. You can use any of them that are up here. You can make up your own, it doesn't matter. But whatever you use, make sure you find them in the book so that you have your evidence. So, for the next 10 minutes, I want you guys, in your Google Slides or your Google Docs, whatever, open it up and create one. Title it, what should we title it?
Google Slides.
Soundtrack. Their eyes.
Okay, so we'll do
Mixtape.
make sure it says this, like TEWWG, and you could either put soundtrack or mixtape, I don't care.
Yeah. Let's go.
But make sure it starts with this so that I can see it.
Can I take a picture of that?
Or a slide.
Yes, you may take a picture of this if you would like to. But for the next 10 minutes, I want you guys to create your document, whatever you choose to do, and just in one of the slides or at the top of the document, pick your 5 moments. Like, take time thinking about this. You guys have 10 minutes left. So pick your moments out if you want to choose from there, if you want to come up with your own. But pick the moments that you want to do. Try to keep them in chronological order if you can. And you may, if you choose to right now, pick more than 5 moments. Because, well, hear me out. So the best way to do this is to pick your moments or to have an idea of what you want to do as your moments. And then spend the next 3 days just listening to music. Because it's going to be really hard for you to say, I want to pick, talking about how Joe gets sick and dies. What is a good song for that? What's a good song? What's a good song? Like, you're never going to think of it. You need to listen to your music. I'm serious. I've, done this whole project. Listen, quiet. I did this whole project pretty much over the weekend by just listening to music. Because you hear a song and you're like, oh, that's a good one for that moment. But you really need to listen to it first.
Yeah.
So you can choose more than 5 right now, like you could pick 10, but not so that you have to do 10, but just so you have kind of 10 moments in your head, because you might not ever find a song for Janie going to live with a white family. You might never find a song for that, even though you wanted to do this moment, so pick a few more so that you kind of, have a broader sense of what you need to come up with for your songs. So, spend the next 10 minutes doing that. I want you guys to at least have 5 down before you leave. That's the goal here. So that you can start listening to music either today and then the next 2 days. Make sure you bring your headphones and your phones or whatever so that you can spend the time listening to music.
We
to come up
put
with
it down to Google Doc, right off.
She said Google Doc.
Yeah, whatever you choose to do. And that was